Hello. Hi, everyone. Oops, sorry. Just making noise in the background. Um, Hi, everyone. Um, so I hope everything is working well, and I hope you are well and everything. Hey, Carmen. Um, and yeah, before we start today's little yard crafting session. You might have seen already in my social media, hey Alcala, and there's also in the description of this video. This Saturday, my crafty friends and some more crafty people, a lot of crafty people actually, we're doing a sort of double event, I would say, for the benefit of Ukraine. Um, we're doing basically, so the main thing is actually an auction, an art auction that we're giving. Um, well, we have several, a lot of people that have donating artworks or classes, or I think some shops and brands are maybe giving some goodie bags and stuff like that that you can bid on. Hey, Sandy. And all of that will be donated to um, to a crisis fund for the Ukraine. And this will be supported by a very long hop if everything will go right. We're still very much in the working of like tying up last things and seeing how it works. If everything goes right, we're gonna have a full 24 hours hop. Um, and it's pretty amazing that how many people come and want to help. So there's a link in the description for the auction if you wanna check it out. It's not open yet. There's no rush. You can join the group. It's going to be on Facebook. You can join the Facebook group, but you will only be entered. Things are only hello, big Irish hello. Hi, Karen. Big Israeli hello back. So yeah, so you can check out the details for the auction. And the hop, I'm actually going to open it. Slightly scary, but it'll be on Saturday. So, and the timing, we're starting at noon Kiev time. So that's 11 a.m. CT. And if I remember right, it's very early in the US. I know, I'm sorry. But because the idea is to do it 24 hours, we really wanted to use Kiev time as a sort of, in a symbolic way. Um, so yeah, but it does mean that, there are going to be a lot of people, a lot of streams, and you can definitely catch at some point somewhere along the line and join in for some amazing inspiration and just to support. Um, and of course, we would be very, very grateful if you can share the event. Again, so I put a link in the description for the auction. Um, and I just put the first, so it's my video. But there will be like a whole list the moment we'll have everything scheduled and ready and like everything organized. You will have the list there, and I'll also probably post about it in social media and in my community tab here in YouTube as well. So follow up and yeah, share and join us, and we'll be very grateful. Yeah, if you have any questions, please ask. Otherwise, just join us and check it out. So yeah, so I'll probably get back to it and remind you again in the end, just in case, just to catch people that might have joined later. But for now, let's work on some houses. Well, one house. We're only working on one house, and we are working on the yard. So I'll do the split screen. There we go. And I'll move it to the center. So you see the base that you've already seen it last week. And the only thing I did was to kind of color it, and you can see it looks very color coded right now. You can sort of see here in the middle, this is where the house will stand. What it is actually just black gesso. When around it in the area of the yard, I also added like a layer of dark brown. Honestly, it's just to separate it. So I will have the contour of where the house is. So, I don't put a flower in the middle of the house. It seems useful. Around it, this white area is, as we discussed before, this is going to be snow because this is a magical house or a house of a green witch that has eternal spring around her house. So we're going to have nice white snow all around. Now, I will say, we'll probably not finish it today. I'm so sorry about that. Like, I know it's starting to feel like we're dragging things maybe a bit, but honestly, when I was prepping for today, when I was planning this, I've just realized that a lot of the stages, they really need to dry. We really need to wait for them to finish. And also, details, they take time. So what we're going to do is start working on the spring area, so the middle. And that's for two reasons. One, simply because it's the central area, and it's going to be very annoying, if we're honest, to work on this area if we already have the snow ready. And also because the snow is supposed to be white, the center will have a lot of like browns and greens and stuff, and we don't necessarily want brown on our snow. Not really. So, so we'll start with the center. Hey, Christiana, hello, hello. So we'll start with the center with the screen. So I'm gonna move to full screen, and let's start seeing how we do this. So our little house will stand here. Obviously, all of this lovely thing will be inside. I'm just leaving it like this because I want to be able to basically stretch it and move the house as far away from our little yard. No, no, do not eat yellow snow. No. Uh, yeah. So, okay. So one of the things we were talking about maybe doing is having a little road leading to the house. I might actually, I always find that with the lighting, yeah, this angle, you might be seeing better. So having a little road to the house. I'm just kind of, we're planning what we're doing. So if we have a road, and I think, again, this is supposed to be like a little house of a witch in the middle of the woods somewhere or something, or middle of the mountains. She doesn't necessarily plan for visitors. I don't know if she minds them so much, but I feel like, so a couple of things. First of all, I think that the yard will be pretty much natural in a way. Hello. I had a kitty on the desk, but she didn't want to come on camera. I apologize. So I was thinking of how to do, like, basically not do a really, straight, organized road leading to the house, but more like having pebbles sort of like that you can jump on from one to the other. And the way I'm thinking of doing it is actually using these beads. These are beads that are just kind of flat. You might be able to see if it focuses, yes, that they have these double holes on the sides. But what's nice about it for us is that if you put them like this, you don't really see the holes. And what I will do with them is, just kind of place them next to each other, farther apart in a kind of haphazard way, we might mix them up with, just a second, I'll remove the sticker so you can actually see the beads. Thank you. I have some of these beads. These ones do have holes at the top, so I'll have to cover them, but they might kind of, they have more of a pebble-like shape, so they might be nice. Either way, the beads themselves will serve as a sort of place, like placekeeper, place mark, I guess. What I'll do with them, then I'm going to probably use some nice grit paste or texture paste to give them a more natural feel to them, less of an accurate shape. So that's why I'm not too worried about these guys having holes, visible holes. We can cover that. Yeah, but I like the fact that with these guys, we will get a nice kind of flat top. I might actually just break them a bit. Maybe I can just break them. Or use a cutter or something. That's an option. It does mean that I will have chips of beads flying around in the room, but that's an option. And I'm sorry if I'm being a bit disorganized today, but I like sharing my process with you, explain why I'm doing what I'm doing and like what's the idea. And B, yeah, this week was a bit busy and crazy in so many ways. So I'm sorry if I'm a little less focused than usual. But yeah, so I think we'll have a kind of a road that will go, maybe we'll even take it to the side a bit, because no one says that the road has to go straight. It's more, I don't know, it gives a more natural kind of feel. Also, so I actually have this set of, you can see them here, these sort of miniature pots. And I originally thought of maybe using them, especially maybe these kind of wood crates sort of thing for plants. But if I'm honest, I feel like at the moment, I'm tempted to actually have it all more just natural, like she didn't organize anything. There's no like accurate places where the flowers grow. There's a few rocks and some grass and some flowers growing wherever they want. I feel that's more fitting with our green witch, but let me know what you think. Yeah, so for basically what we're going to do, I'm going to put the house to the side, far away. And what we're going to do is build the ground here in the middle and add all kind of elements. And yes, before I forget, also, we have little rocks here that I still need to shade a bit. I did make them ahead because they take a bit of time to make. And I wanted them to be ready because these are going to be like marker stones that are going to stand around in this circle. We might actually not add them today, and then I don't know. We'll see. You don't want to stand like this? You can stand like this, I guess. But these are marker stones that we said are going to be they're going to be the magical circle that creates the eternal spring. So I'm just trying to find the nice ones here. Yeah, this one doesn't want to stand. We still need to kind of shade them. I'm considering at least to do like in little tiny engraving or something like that, like little magical symbols. But they're supposed to stand right at the edge between the snow and the ground. So we might actually only add them when we have the snow. the reason I wanted them ready is because the way I usually add elements like this is actually put, you know, the grit paste or texture paste and just stick it in. So I wanted them to be ready in case we get to that point. Okay. Now, what else are we adding? Yes, we have grass to add, and I have a whole selection of grass and moss and flowers. There's tiny flowers. Sorry. And among these tiny flowers, I do believe, yeah, I have tweezers. Yes, if you can see them, tiny little butterflies here. No, I want this one. Okay, this one. Come on, butterfly. Here you go. We have tiny little butterflies here. And I actually had a question today sent to me about these butterflies and how I made them, or more specifically, what dyes I used to make them. So Sarah, this is for you, if you're watching this. I have a collection of dyes. I'll show you now. Yeah, I'll show you now. So tiny butterfly dyes are something that I'm kind of collecting because I use them. That's why. So there are a couple of dyes that I have and I use a lot. I'm trying to, oof, magnetic pages can be a little hard sometimes to deal with. Just a sec. There it is. So these ones come from a kit that I don't know actually if it actually is available anymore. I will say. So these two are from a kit. This is, you can see this is the Tonic Craft Kit number 42, and you can see that there's this dye here that has a whole selection of butterflies. Now, I will say, unfortunately, the Tonic Craft Kits are one of those, if they're a limited time, limited edition sort of thing. And if you didn't get them, it's very hard to get them afterwards. You generally need to have a sort of subscription or buy them one time when they're available. And this one is not very new, but it might be available somewhere. So I'm saying, you know, I'm just letting you know where I got it. This is also from a card. This was a card making magic magazine. This is just, I cut a piece of the back so I'll know where it came from. And these two are little dies that I use quite a bit also for butterflies. But again, this is a kit, and kits are always a bit problematic. Now, this one is Creative Expressions, and I believe this one should be available. I'm not sure. I will check again, and you can see it's the Kinetics 3D window box. So basically, it's a really cute die set that creates a kind of flower box for under a window, and it does come with with these 3 little butterflies here. So I wanted to show you all these dies. These are the ones that I use. I will list them afterwards, both here and in which I had the tiny paper village house that I made, that I used some dies, some tiny butterflies in there. The one I showed you before is actually a nail art butterflies. You can get them in small packs per pound dollar store. Okay. I don't, yeah, so I unfortunately don't have dollar stores, but that's cool. That sounds awesome. And there are like these tiny ones. That's awesome. Yeah, I wish I could get something like that. I have die cuts instead. I will list what I have, and I'll try to have a look if there's something else available. Thank you so much for sharing that, Karen. it's always good to know what people use. I do believe that in general, you can find dyes for butterflies, for small ones like this. You just need to search a bit. It will often not be, it will be included within, it will be included within like a different set. So now for the grass and moss and so on, you can see here that I have like, this is only part of my selection. Now this is actually, if you look closely, you can see this is kind of the longer grass thingy. And it is, I bought this is made for miniatures. And what I like about it is also that it has a variety of colors of shading inside, so it looks quite natural when you use it. For moss, and a lot of times actually for the base of grass, or if I want to have, if I make a house that's supposed to be like, that they mow the lawn regularly and it's all like straight and even, then I will use these guys. I think you'll be able to see better with a bright one. So this is, again, something that I bought, and I bought it just in an art shop in the architecture area. I didn't bring the bag because I forgot, but basically I bought one bag that is like about this size, and I've been using it for a few years now, like probably 5 years at least, and all I do is color it. So I just use, I think that I usually use Distress ink or something. I could use the reinker or whatever, but you can see it takes color very well. And then because of that, I can have just all kind of shades. Yeah. I don't know if you can notice that this one is a bit more dull. I actually used oxide for this one. So it's really cool because you kind of buy one. Here, I think I have even another one here. See? So I think this one is closest, this one, the brightest one. This is the closest to the original color, and this is already darker. The original color is ridiculously like plastic green, not realistic. But with a bit of shading, you get like a bit of tinting, you get really good colors, and you can use it for so many things, and it's really useful. So that's cool. That's grass. I also have some kind of crumbled cork here that I use sometimes just to create more texture for ground. It's also very useful if you want to plant flowers somewhere. You can put it and kind of afterwards stick it into it. With texture paste, you kind of have to stick the flowers inside while it's still wet. You need to be careful not to wait to let it dry completely. With the cork, because you're using the crumbled cork, then you can kind of fit it in between it. You find somewhere to stick it. It works. And that's it. That's it for materials. Now I should actually get to work, shouldn't I? My goodness. Look at me talking away. Okay, so we are just going to start working. And what I would like to use this time is, did I bring it? I know I brought it. Yes, my grit paste. I'm gonna use some grit paste. Now, grit paste, as you can see, it's also like, it's quite empty, this jar. Great selection of colors. How do you decide which one to use? Ooh, well, the first thing to think about is what season I'm working on. If this is supposed to be, is it summer, autumn, spring, something like that, then like it gives a different feel, the shade of the color of the grass. Also, yeah, thinking about whether it's if it's just a natural forest or field or something like that, that's one thing. But if it's someone very manicured mowed lawn, then I would often go with something brighter because it feels like, yeah, they will make sure that all the grass is nice and watered and everything is good. Unlike, nature. Nature is not necessarily everything is the same. And also, most of the time, I mix several. I keep them in separate boxes because it's because I don't want to, I want to be able to control the mixture, but I usually will basically use pretty much all of them in the project, just in different amounts. But yeah, thank you for the question. Okay, I'm gonna just put this guy here. Looks like at least it doesn't create all kind of weird um, lighting effects. So good for that. Let's see, putting that aside for a bit. And I am actually, oh, just a sec. I'm just grabbing a brown kingdom. You know when you think you brought everything and then you realize you didn't? Uh, so I wanted one of the reinkers to tint the ground. I'm thinking I'll grow probably with gathered twigs, but I have walnut stain on reserve if I feel like it. Now because, yeah, as I was starting to say, the grit paste, and especially my grit paste that you can see the jar is almost empty, it can dry quite quickly, so I'm not going to work on the entire surface at the same time. I'm going to start with an area and then continue on. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do plan to create a sort of, if we're gonna have the trail, and I'm gonna just kind of, yeah, if we're gonna have trail of little stones here, pretty much, then, no, I don't need to worry about that because it's going to be all over the place. We'll work on them in a bit. So I'm just adding a little bit. These reinkers are very, very concentrated, so you can see how dark it already is. And please, and also I am using the translucent grit paste, so all the white that you're seeing right now is gonna be gone. It's gonna disappear. So it's not going to be, it's going to be even darker than we see right now, which is, it's cool. It's cool. Okay. So what I'll do now is just, trying to see if I, oh. So I'm just going to, let's say, if we're taking this part, I'm basically just putting the texture paste into the area that is marked. So I'm kind of following the edges, the contour of the house that I know is here, or that I marked there. So I know that's where I want it to stand. And I'm gonna take it all the way to the edge. And I'm actually saying here there's a bit of a divot, so I just need to notice that it goes all the way in, but doesn't create any problem. Generally speaking, all of these things can be fixed afterwards a bit. If you go a little bit inside, you can remove it with a cutting knife because cutting knife, I don't know what I said, but cutting knife, you can remove it with that, and everything will work just fine. And I'm also allowing myself to apparently create stains. That wasn't the intention, but no, but I'm kind of letting the grid paste go over this circle. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle at all. It's supposed to be kind of a natural, so it can go, I want it to be like a natural line, so it kind of go back and forth. But yeah, and this is something that we can also play with afterwards. Of course, when we put the snow, it will stand kind of go again back and forth a bit, to create more interest and more of a natural feel to things. Even though, you know, it's a magical circle, so it doesn't have to be, I don't know, completely natural looking, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm also kind of bouncing on it, so it's not smooth. And also we don't get this, how do you call it? Don't get the feel that it's, I've lost the word in the middle of my sentence. Yes, I'm focused on making the ground work. I'm sorry. Sometimes, your brain is one place and your mouth is another, apparently. But yeah, so what I'm doing also is kind of trying to remember that in this area, this is the front of the house, this is where the door is, and this is something to note about the village series. So when you're doing the door, the regular door that you have into this house without this kind of extension that goes around, most of the times you will actually have a bit of the door will actually start like a millimeter or two above the very bottom of the house. And then when you're building this kind of yard, it's a great opportunity to actually bring the ground up to the level of the door. However, in this case, with the extension, the door goes flush all the way down to the ground. So now what I'm doing is actually making sure that in the area in front of the door, it's not going to be too high, that it doesn't look like, like the door can't open. So I'm making sure that this area is quite flat. And it's also a good way, like an opportunity basically to kind of create a bit of a road feel. So yeah, so I'm going to kind of create little piles maybe around it here. Because I know that I want the road to go like this, basically. So, so the center here of the area that I know is the extension is going to be the door. So I'm making sure that this here is low enough for the door supposedly to open. I mean, it can open actually. So, so if we decide we want the door to be open, that we can do it. But then we can have the ground kind of going a bit up and allowing more of the texture. And yeah, that's about it. Okay. So is already pretty good. And yeah, this is, to be honest, more ground that I maybe have planned to do. Yeah, this texture paste can cover quite a bit of area. So even when you make a small amount, you're probably going to cover quite a bit of ground. But still, we will have quite a bit of time still to work it and play with it. And you can always kind of adjust things afterwards. So, yeah, you should never be too worried about it, and just play with it and have fun. In here, I want to kind of bring the edge of it low, so it'll be easier to mix with a new batch that we will make afterwards. Because one of the things is, again, it depends on how you work. Different makers work in different ways. Some people, when they add, tint to texture paste, they will be very accurate about how much they're adding, and they'll be able to replicate it exactly. As you may have noticed, I don't do that. And again, it depends on the project. In a project like this, when I want it to be natural looking, I don't mind that this part of the ground will be a little darker or a little lighter, because that is actually something that happens in nature. Also, a lot of it is going to be covered with, uh, um, grass and stuff, so I'm not too worried about it. Democration zone? What? Okay. I have a feeling that I've seen this comment way after it was supposed to be, so I'm not sure what it's connected to, Sandy, but yeah. Okay, so just bouncing a bit here, and I'm gonna just wipe my palette knife a bit so it's nice and clean for when we want to do another bunch. Okay, now I'm gonna kind of stick these guys in. They will be covered afterwards, but yeah, I'm just holding the house right above. You won't be able to see it like this. There we go. I'm holding the house right above where it's supposed to be. I don't want it to touch the paste, but I just want to be sure that I'm happy with where the stone is placed, pretty much. So yeah, just putting it in. Do these 3 for now. I think we'll have more kind of going into the snow afterwards. I think that I will actually maybe add. Oh, okay. Apparently I will not add that gray bit because it just escaped me. It does not want to be added. But I might use some cork. Let's see. I want to add some cork in different areas around. Just using it to basically spreading it around again and just pushing it into the grid paste. This is just more texture and more, it will create a more kind of different heights. So it's more interesting to the eye. We will paint it afterwards. Yeah, and by the way, the reason that I don't add the house, I think I might use a piece of cork here as a little stone too, just to make it a bit more, yeah, a bit more interesting. We might put one here as well. Could have just used the cork and not beads, but oh well. They're here. We'll use them. The zone between the 2 different areas, like snow and ground. Oh, democration zone. Okay, cool. I don't think I knew that one. Thank you. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So this is just adding this. Now, in all honesty, you can basically completely skip this part. You can just go straight to putting glue and grass on top of on the base and just have grassy ground. But I want to be able to have areas where, the ground sort of picks between the bits of grass, again, because this is supposed to be a natural area, like she doesn't really garden too much. Most of the houses actually that I do, I would do with much more organized grass areas. So a lot of times I will just straight ahead put grass all over the place and be done with it, sort of. But in this case, we're just gonna let it. I want to be able to have, yeah, the ground picking through. No, I don't want a sharp demarcation zone. That is very true. But that will be done afterwards. Although, in this case, I will say, because it's a magical, it's like a magical area, right? So it can be a pretty sharp area. I don't want it to be a perfect circle, but it will be a sharp differentiation between the spring and the snow. Because it's not completely natural, actually. Okay. Now, the question is, let's see, it's already 40 minutes. That's how it goes. And there's two options. We can either continue in finishing the ground. Think I would prefer to kind of leave it for a few minutes at least, and then I think we can add grass at least on these areas, just so we'll cover that part. So what I want to do, let's see. I think I do want to add some grit paste directly on these beads. And I'm not going to tint it because I want, basically because I am going to paint it kind of in gray afterwards, I think, to make it look more like stones. So I want to be able to differentiate it myself when I'm painting. But the grit paste does definitely, first of all, gives it the nice, can give it a nice finish and texture that feels more like a stone than the very, very smooth bead that we have now. And also, it allows me to kind of build a shape that is not this perfect little square, which again, not exactly wrong. So there. Just, but I will say one of the things that is useful about using a little bit of the grit paste in its kind of natural color, shall we call it, is that I will be able to find out like much easier whether it's dry or not, because it does change color and become translucent. That one escaped here. Translucent when it dries. So, you know, if you tint it, it's a little hard. I should close this. It's a little hard to see, but when it's in its kind of, yeah, natural color, shall we call it, base color, it's definitely easier to see that it's dry. Although you can always do what Tim tells to do and just touch it and see if it's dry. And, you know, if you worked with it a few times, you know, that's usually in like 10, 15 minutes tops, it will be completely dry, and often you can start working on it even before. Okay, so right now it looks like a complete mess, but it will actually look like a stone in the end, I promise. Okay. Kind of creating little angles here. Basically sort of sculpting a stone with a grit paste. And I'm thinking, what should we do while it dries completely? Would you like to make a butterfly? I could definitely use some more butterflies for this one. So we can make a little butterfly. Or I'm thinking, or we can make something with the stones. Okay. I want this to be a kind of clear that it's you know, that it's stepping stones, that it's supposed to be quite smooth, but still have a stony texture. Okay, we'll leave it now. Yeah, I think we'll make a couple of butterflies, maybe. And then get back to this and add some grass. Okay, so just moving this aside. So the way I do it, let's clear up a bit, bring my sidekick back in, or well, it hasn't been here today, but it has been before. And I like to use vellum for the butterflies, just because I do want them to have some transparency, but when you use transparency, actually, because it's completely plastic, a lot of times it's harder to cut, especially with small dies. And also it can be a bit tricky to color. Vellum is easier on that aspect. Now, you can cut and then color. I tend to just color an area with some alcohol markers and then, you know, cut it from it. It's usually easier for me. So I think we'll do some yellow, orange, and blue butterflies. And I'm taking, you can see that I'm taking two colors. That's because I like to mix it. I'm actually going to move this aside because if I put the vellum on top of the white area, you can actually see what I'm doing, which is useful. Okay, I'm just using the marker side, and we'll just cut, basically do an area in orange. I'm gonna add some yellow basically into the orange just to create a bit of variation. Now just cleaning the marker. Might have been a bit too much. I don't know. Yeah. Just, you can see that I'm doing a very, you know, careful and accurate job here. Or not at all. I should bring the die actually and see that I'm covering the right amount of area. But I think we're good. Okay. The benefit of using alcohol markers in this case, and the reason basically I'm using it, is that yeah, that because they dry so quick, even vellum, even stubborn vellum that kind of dies away with every little the tiniest amount of moisture. Yes, moisture, that's the word. It will not actually work. I'm just gonna kind of fan it a bit to dry it completely. Because I don't want to use my heat tool, because if I'll use my heat tool, it will work terribly. Vellum is tricky. It is. But, you know, it's a sophisticated technique, I know, to flip it like that, but it works. I think it's okay now. This also depends, of course, on which markers you're using. Some of them will kind of, now I'm looking, did I do enough? Oh no, I didn't do enough orange. Didn't take it all the way to the edge. This is why you should bring your dye first. But yeah, we'll just cut the blue ones first. Okay. And I'm using, this is the one from the tonic dye, yeah, from the tonic kit. The reason I'm using it is mainly because it's a whole bunch of butterflies in one cut, which is faster. And yeah, I could definitely get more from this piece, but you'll have to forgive me. I wasn't very material conserving this time. Okay, so just quickly die cutting. I expect it to be enough. Yeah. No? No. I think I need to buy new plates for my sidekick. But we'll see. Oh, dear. Okay. Sorry. I know you might not be able to see what I'm doing, but I need to see what I'm doing. Okay. Just sliding it right into where it was before. And we'll give it another run. Yep. And now we have, I'll put them here so you can see them. We have all these lovely little butterflies. And you can see that like the smallest ones, these guys, they're ridiculously tiny. Which is really cool when you're doing miniatures. Okay, so putting the dye away and everything. Oh, okay. I'll take the biggest one just because then it'll be easier for you to see what I'm doing. And what I like to do, well, first of all, yeah, we'll do it on the white area. Because I am detail crazy, I am taking my, okay. My cat got super excited about something. I think she's hunting the tiniest bug on top of the cabinet. Okay, I hope she's not gonna land on top of everything. We'll see. So I'm taking this fine marker. It's a 0.05 size, so it's very, very thin because I like my details. So I'm just going to add ooh, a little black right in the middle where the body would be. And we also can do a little bit of lines, just give the butterfly more definition. I think I might actually do the bottom edges, like the edges, very edges of the wings. Just give it a bit of a black, because I'm forgetting the name of the butterfly now. Is it monarch? I think it's the monarch butterfly that is very, very blue, and it does have kind of black edging. It's also gigantic, so we can actually maybe, no, I think it would still be too big for this house, actually. But you know what? We'll see. Either way, there will always be a project where I can use it, so I'm never worried about making one extra. Just take the line all the way here to the center, just to give it a bit more of a finish. And yeah, I'm never worried about this being symmetrical or not. Nature is not symmetrical. Of course, yellow butterflies. I just didn't cut them yet. Well, they're yellow-orange, but I can do completely yellow too. Okay, so now what we do is just grab the butterfly with some tweezers, fold it, give it a teensy bit of a fold, and ooh, okay, it doesn't want to come. There we go. We have this lovely little beautiful butterfly. It's actually quite big for us. There you go. Focus. Come on. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There you are. There. So there's a nice blue butterfly. I promise that there will be some yellow and orange butterflies as well. But now, let's see. Do we need this to dry more. What should we do? What should we do? Oh, thank you. Okay, it's nearly an hour and we have a little bit of mud and a couple of butterflies. This is how it goes, people. But yeah, so I think what I'll do is just I can't actually do the grass step completely because we need this to dry. I need to be able to really kind of paint the cork areas a bit. So I'll explain what I do. And please, oh, I have the original red sidekick, and I didn't realize that the plates are different depth and teams. Oh, those back ones wouldn't cut anything. Oh, yeah, I know. Sometimes when they change to a different, they do like a renewal of something. They just change something and it doesn't work anymore. Yeah, I had this thing. I think that I actually bought by accident like extra plates of the old type and it wouldn't work in my sidekick. So yeah, I wish that they put like a little disclaimer that says, if you have the old one, don't buy these plates, buy these ones. But I guess they just assume that it will, I don't know, disappear from the market or something, but that's rude. It shouldn't. They should still have the old plates. Anyways, uh, I think I actually use them for something else. Yeah, I started using them as like stamping, because I had clear ones, so I used them as stamping acrylic blocks. They weren't great for that. You can always find something to do with that. So they're very messy and filled with ink. I don't know if you want them anymore. They're green now. Oof. Okay. Interesting. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you can probably find someone to trade with or something. I don't know. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. This is not, no, this is not dry enough. So what I usually do, basically, when I add the grass is actually, so yeah, first of all, I will color all of this cork a little bit darker or just kind of use a dry brush to add a little bit of brown so it's a bit more fitting with the rest of the ground. Also, sometimes with the hide areas, I'll actually use gray to make stones. I think that's what I'll do in here. I'll make them into stones. So we'll have like gray stones, and then what I usually do is put this glue all over the place. Now, I will say, so yeah, this is, of course, they put the price sticker right on the name of the glue, but basically, this is Pentart Express glue. Now, if you can maybe see, I don't know if you can see, but mine is super, super liquid. I have been told by people that use this glue that it's not supposed to be that way, that it's not supposed to be this liquid. I can, you know what? I can show you here. This part is dry, but I'll just show you a little bit of grass making right in this corner. And you'll see what I mean also about the glue. And for this, so I'm going to mix. I'm going to use this very, 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 this kind of, it's almost like powder, this bright green. And we might add a bit of the longer grass, although I often add that as a second layer. Now, watch the glue. Because this is basically, when I pour it out, it's like, it's completely watery. Right? You can see. So this is apparently not how it's supposed to be. But you know, it works perfect for this because it's still super strong and it dries actually quite quickly. And all I do is kind of put it around. Oh, okay, you want to move around? Well, now you'll be glued. Fine, I'll glue you with this glue. I'm gonna take it all the way to the edge here. Just like this. And then just take a pinch of grass and put it there. And often I will actually take my toothpick again and kind of push it into the glue a little bit, just like this. And yeah, now you just need to wait for it to dry. And once it dries, and that's the reason I didn't glue the house, I didn't connect the house to the base, even though I am going to do that in the end. Once the glue dries, I basically take the whole base and turn it over to get all the little pieces that didn't glue down off. And yeah, another thing that I would say that I do a lot of times is that I will add, especially with the long grass, I would actually sometimes add the grass and then kind of pour the glue on. I might actually do it with some of these little pieces here, because I can see that some of these, some of the cork didn't catch. Yeah, see, it's moving around. So I'm just pouring it on, and by gosh, does that work well. It's it's really cool. And it actually, like when I first got this glue, I was on my way to kind of send it back to the shop because what the hell, it's so liquid, it's not supposed to be like that. But then I found out that it's actually really useful like that. And now I'm kind of sorry that, you know, probably if I'll buy it again, it's not gonna be this liquid. And it's really useful. Okay, so let's add some more of this. And this will make sure that it does not move. Generally speaking, the grit paste is strong enough to hold everything in place, but you know, it may have dried a bit too fast, especially because mine is old. It's a little old. And that means that it dries faster, which is sometimes convenient, sometimes not so convenient. But yeah, all of these areas will now be completely glued and not move at all. But that's about it as far as these techniques go. I hope that it was useful in any way. Please let me know, like in chat or in the comments if you're watching afterwards, if this is useful, if you want to see more of this. I don't know. Our options basically for next week, because we're going to finish this project in these lives. I promise, so we will. And our options are that either I will basically finish all of kind of the bottom, um, bring it to a point where the yard is, the green part of the yard is kind of ready. So we have like the grass, the ground and grass all over this central area. And we can do, fun things like adding flowers and adding butterflies, um, and then do the snow. Or we can just go do snow and kind of leave this, I don't know, or I mean, I can leave it and continue exactly from here next week, but I feel like at least I should continue this. Uh, thank you, Karen. Um, I don't know. I think let me know in the comments if there's something specific that you want to see. If not, I think that what I will do is get to the point that we have all of the grass in the central area. We'll start with doing the snow and then, adding like flowers and other bits because that is really the fun part. It is. I can also let me know if you actually want me to do the snow live because it is basically the snow is basically grit paste. Put it here. Is the opaque grit paste. So the opaque version of the paste that we use today. And you kind of you can put a little bit of the, I always forget the rock candy glitter on it to make it a bit more fancy and pretty. And this is a very, very sophisticated technique that have been shared by many. So if you don't need that, we can skip that. But I think we'll probably start with the snow and then do the flowers and butterflies and stuff and add some moss to the house and connect it and all those things. But that is it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that this today was not like the most organized one. I hope it was useful and it was still interesting and nice for you. Um, and yeah, and again, I would like to invite you on Saturday. We are doing a hop for the benefit of Ukraine. There is an art auction connected that is going on as well. It's going to be open on Saturday. As I said, it'll be on midday Kiev time, so that's 11 a.m. CET, and I believe very early in the US, so something like 5 a.m. EST. I think it's something crazy. Um, but yeah, we wanted to choose a time that is kind of, yeah, Ukraine connected. So yeah, so this is going to be we're going to have a hop that will start at the same time here actually on my channel. So you can also already see, yeah, it's going to be completely middle of the night. However, I will say that we are going to have the hop continues for hopefully full 24 hours, and there are amazing artists that are involved, Olga Heldwin and Belinda Basson and Fina Beer is joining us, which is super amazing. And so many wonderful, talented crafters and artists that, just want to help. So I can start on something new. I mean, okay, let's be honest. If you feel that we're finished with this project, then we will jump back to the miniature mansion that is waiting. We have, I think, a bedroom to make, which would be cool. But I don't know because I said I will do the whole project live, so I want to make sure if someone is interested, I will do it. I will finish it. If not, hey, I can finish it off camera and show you pictures, and that'll be good too. Whatever you want. The important thing here is what you want because this is for you guys. This is supposed to be, exciting and interesting for you. And if it's not interesting for you, then there's no point. So let me know what you want. Um, and yeah, so you can find in the description, I already put the links for the auction, which again has some so super talented people that are donating items, and some shops are donating goodie bags, and we have people donating classes, and you can bid, and all the everything that you pay will go directly to the Ukraine Crisis Fund. So, we're not earning anything. This is all for charity, and we hope that you'll come and check it out. And yeah, so let me know in the comments if there's ooh, okay. So let me know in the comments if you're done with this project and you want to move on, or you want to finish it, continue with it till the end. What do you want? And I really, really hope to, see you on Saturday somewhere along on the hop. I will be there in the background even after I will finish my live. I know that for many of you it'll be way too early, so I will see you in the chat, I guess. Um, and it's an important cause, so please stop by. And if you can also just share the information with your friends, because we want, I think that all people in the world kind of want to help now, and a lot of times you're kind of lost as to how, and we're trying to give you an opportunity to find a way to do that. Not for now. Okay, okay, Sandy. I'm sorry. Good to know. Okay, okay, okay. No problem. Just the ground and continue next week. It's all good. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you like it. And yeah, okay. Thank you so much. We're already over time because you know, I'm having fun having you around. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. And hopefully also, if you can stop by on Saturday to the pop and the auction, and share the information, I'll be super grateful. I wish you all a wonderful week, as much as possible. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you. Bye for now.